Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plenary Session 2. This session will be chaired by Dr. Muhammad Ikhwan Zain.
Dr. Muhammad Ikhwan Zain is sport medicine specialist at Faculty of Sport Science, Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. He received a sport medicine specialist degree from Universitas Indonesia, Jakarta. He has been active in the area of sport medicine for over 5 years and has been a medical committee for the Indonesia Football Association since 2013. Dr. Muhammad Ikhwan Zain, would you please take the floor?
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I'm Muhammad Ikhwan Zain, and I will get you all as a moderator to this second session. And this session we have two expert person from Indonesia and Malaysia. First, I will invite Associate Professor Ahmad bin Hashim from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, UPSI. And I also invite Professor Dr. Wawan Sundawan Suherman as Dean of Faculty of Sport Science, Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, Indonesia. We will have two sessions. The first session is presentation from our expert person from Professor Ahmad bin Hashim and Professor Dr. Wawan. And after that, we enter the panel discussion, and I will invite the audience to ask the question. And for the expert person in here, I will read their curriculum vitae. The first is Associate Professor Ahmad bin Hashim from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, UPSI. He got his PhD degree in UPSI 2003, and he also a member of American College of Sports Medicine, or ACSM. And his research interests in assessment and measurement, fitness and physical activity, and also motoric learning. His academic position, he is a Professor Madya or Associate Professor and former Dean of Faculty of Sport Science, UPSI, Malaysia. And our second expert person, Professor Dr. Wawan Sundawan Suherman, Master Education. He was born in Sumedang, and his former position is Head of Institute of Research and Community Service. Now he is a Dean in Faculty of Sports Science, and he also board member of Asian Society of Kinesiology. Okay, for the first presentation, I will invite Professor Ahmad bin Hashim. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Ibu-ibu dan bapak-bapak sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, hadirin yang saya hormati, dalam kesempatan yang berbahagia ini, marilah kita bersyukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala atas segala nikmat serta hidayahnya yang telah dicurahkan kepada kita semua, sehingga pada kesempatan kali ini kita bisa hadir dalam seminar First Yogyakarta International Seminar on Health, Physical Education and Sports Science 2017. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer committees for inviting me as an invited speaker in First Yogyakarta International Seminar on Health, Physical Education and Sports Science 2017. Today, I will talk about measurement and evaluation on sports science in line with the theme conference, evidence-based practice on sports science in education, performance and health. Ibu-ibu dan bapak-bapak sekalian yang saya hormati, try to think for a moment and remember what we have done before on measurement and evaluation on sports science, physical education, and health. What are the usual practice that we do when we are identify talent or athlete performance? Are we really sure that the athletes are talented? Are we really sure the influence of teaching style or motor ability on the certain skill in any game performance? Are we able to test, measure, and evaluate the effect of practice? Are we able to test, measure, and evaluate differences between teaching style A and B on certain skill at the end of physical education and sports science lesson? Do we really understand the method involved in measurement and evaluation in sports science and physical education? Are we able to test, measure, and evaluate the correlation study between A and B among student or athlete? No, it's okay. Are we able to master basic statistical method to come out with evaluate based on measurement data? Ibu-ibu, bapa-bapa sekalian, if these we are not yet masters, it means that our training with on evidence-based practice on sports science in education performance and health are questionable and misleading. To solve the problem, then we need to understand the concept of testing, measurement, and evaluation in physical education and sports science. Testing can be defined as a tool or instrument which is used to obtain information about individuals of a group of students or athletes. Regardless of the specific type of testing instrument used, it must contain both reliability and validity. Measurement, on the other hand, is the process of accumulating information or empirical data which has to be accurate and reliable. The process of measurement must be conducted by trained teacher or coach. Data or information acquired from the process of measurement will be analyzed using the correct statistical method. Result of this analysis will be used to make an evaluation. Evaluation is the process of determining the value or grade of the data obtained. Evaluation also refers to an interpretation of test result to meaningful information. It will be used in making unbiased consideration of decision. Without the evaluation process, the data obtained are useless. Significant measurement and evaluation in physical education and sports science. Some of the significant measurement and evaluation is: 1. Placement. Tests can be used to place student or athlete in class or group according to their abilities. Diagnosis. To assist in the identification of student and athletes' strength and weakness. Evaluation of achievement. To enhance student or athlete will to strive to maintain and improve their level of performance in the real sport. Fourth, prediction. Test result can be used to predict an individual levels or achievement in future activities. To provide advantage to student or athlete to choose the preferred type of sport and career. Program evaluation. Test result can be used by physical education teacher or coach to assist teacher or coach while planning for training strategies or teaching and learning in physical education and sports science. Motivation. The result can be motivating children or athletes. That's why teacher and sport coach responsibilities. Structured approach in training or teaching and learning of physical education and sports science must go through standard on and continuous testing and measurement. 1. Physical education and sports science teacher and coach must understand the concept of testing and measurement. 2. Effective assessment requires good test procedure and easy to apply testing procedure, which could produce consistent and reliable test score. The most challenging aspect in measurement and evaluation is to determine the important element in choosing a certain test. 4. Physical education and sports science teachers and sport coach must focus on testing procedures. The process of selection and procedures in conducting the test must be based on the right method. Without an interpretation of score collected, the test would be meaningless to student and athlete. The successful of an evaluation depend on the quality of data. Any evaluation conducted based on inconsistent and inaccurate test instrument and measurement considered as inaccurate and doubtful. Principle of measurement and evaluation. Some of the significant in principle measurement and evaluation are: measurement and evaluation conducted must be directly related to physical education and sports science subject goals. Measurement and evaluation should also be used to enhance the quality of teaching method. Physical education and sports science teachers or sport coach must be professional in conducting measurement and testing. Validity and reliability of a test depend on teacher or coach ability to examine and conduct a test. Ensure that all students or athletes receive accurate and consistent test procedure. Provide adequate instruction and training before conducting a test. Teacher or coach will be demonstrate as well as allowed several trials as a part of training. Trained teachers or coach have a high level of consistency in administered tests, consistency in giving instruction on test procedure, delivery of score, and mistake done during the test are crucial in measurement. Choosing test instrument. Physical education and sports science teachers or coach have to first identify an instrument or test which they want to use to measure a certain physical fitness or motor ability component. Please make sure test instrument must have the reliability and validity values. Test instrument must be realistic, easy to do, economic, take a short time to test, have a complete test procedures, easy administration of test score, can be limited by student capabilities. No student will be zero score. Specific measurement. Now I will talk about test validity. A test instrument is considered valid when it measures what it is intended to measure. If the data obtained come from an invalid test or test instrument, the data cannot be used in measurement and evaluation. Any decision made about a subject based on inaccurate data might lead to mistake or inaccuracy. There are 4 types of validity measurement used in physical education and sports science, namely logical validity evidence, content validity evidence, criteria validity evidence, and construct validity evidence. Factors that influence validity. In order to determine whether or not a test instrument has high levels of validity, physical education and sports science teacher or coach must take several things into consideration. 1. Accurate selection of tests to be made as criterion measure. 2. Characteristic of student or athlete test. For instance, a certain valid test to be used on 13 years old student or athlete become invalid if it used for those who are 14 or 15 years old. A certain test is valid to be used on student or athlete who share the same age, gender, and school grade. A certain test is valid when it has reliability. Test validity is generally influenced by reliability. The higher number of tests carried out on each student or athlete, the higher the value of reliability. Reliability. A test is able to produce consistent result after several attempts is considered as reliable. For example, if a group student or athlete sit for a push-up test on 2 different days, the score that are obtained must be similar. In order to ensure the test reliability, the procedure measurement technique and the environment in which the test is conducted must remain the same. The reliability value can be obtained through the test-retest method for field tests and alpha convert method for questionnaire test. There are several factors which can affect a test of reliability. Among others, 1. Inaccurate instruction given. Inconsistent procedures in delivering test score. Differences between the equipment used during the test. Differences in the test environment. Objectivity. Objectivity is often known as reliability among inter-tester and intra-tester. Correlation value between tester and expert score is called inter-tester reliability. And correlation value between tester 1 and tester 2 or 3 score is called intra-tester reliability. A test is considered to have high level of objectivity when it receives close consensus between 2 or more testers. Test objectivity depends on 1. How well-defined scoring system is provided. Number of trial. Test difficulty. Instruction given. Test environment. Hadirin sekalian yang saya hormati, effective practice must be based on evidence. Evidence must be obtained through scientific study. Therefore, scientific study requires the use of tests with validity and reliability. To conduct the measurement of sport science and performance and health, we need the right research design to collect data or information. Example issue for experimental studies. Study to see the effect of teaching style on performance. Study to see the effect of circuit training on sprint and long jump performance. Effect of training module on athlete. Comparison of cardiovascular fitness level between pacer test with biotomic test. There are several experimental designs that can be used in the above study. Depend on your objective of study. You can use design, post-test only control group design, pre-test, post-test control group design, factorial design, time series design. We can also use qualitative research method to obtain evidence for practice in sports science. There are some design examples that can be used in the above study. We can use observation, case study, focus interview, ethnography, and so on. Hopefully, this seminar will help you to improve knowledge in the measurement and evaluation of sports science, performance, and health. Practice based on evidence may not be achieved if we do not take into account the following. First, one of the current challenge is that teacher of course fail to identify and choose the valid test or the one that actual test physical fitness. Example, teacher or coach inability to identify valid and reliable tests for physical fitness tests will only lead to confusing results. Challenges faced by physical education and sports science teacher and coach today is to prove that subject can be contribute toward the improvement and development of intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and physical aspect of the athlete. The objective will not be attainable if teacher or coach do not have sufficient knowledge in measurement procedure and evaluation in physical education and sports science. In fact, they could also fail to measure student athlete fitness performance. Hanya itu yang bisa saya sampaikan. Mudah-mudahan ada manfaatnya serta diberikan ilmu yang bermanfaat dan diridai Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Amin. Izinkan saya mengucapkan, excuse me Mr. Wolf. Izinkan saya mengucapkan sepatah dua kata untuk 3 orang yang sangat berjasa untuk saya. Guru saya yang cukup berjasa. 40 years ago, 40 tahun lepas, 1974 and 1975, saya dididik oleh Bapak Bustamam, Bapak Jojo, Bapak Supaman dari Indonesia. Usia sekitar 16 tahun tidak bisa mengajar saya mengerti dari mana tempat asal guru saya. Terima kasih cikgu. Tak terfikir bahawa suatu masa nanti saya juga bisa berbicara di bumi Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Saya bangga sebab 40 tahun lepas, satu jangka masa yang cukup lama, namun Indonesia telah berjaya melahirkan insan yang cukup berilmu dan memiliki modal insan yang tinggi. Saya harap dulu, kini dan selamanya ibu-ibu dan bapak-bapak sekalian lebih cemerlang, gemilang dan terbilang, insya-Allah. Saya hadiahkan pantun untuk 3 guru saya yang berasal dari Indonesia. Jika hari ini seorang Perdana Menteri berkuasa, jika hari ini seorang raja menaiki takhta, jika hari ini seorang presiden sebuah negara, jika hari ini seorang ulama yang mulia, jika hari ini seorang peguam menang bicara, jika hari ini seorang penulis terkemuka, jika hari ini siapa saja menjadi dewasa, sejarahnya dimulakan oleh seorang guru biasa. Dengan lembut sabarnya mengajar, tulis, baca. Sekian wabillahi taufiq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ahmad, for your presentation. And now we will invite our second expert person, our Dean, Profesor Dr. Wawan Sundawan Suherman. The time is yours, Prof.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The last part of his speech make me nervous because I don't prepare my verses to answer his pantun. Thank you, Professor Ahmad. I would like to proceed my presentation on utilization of children play in optimizing kindergarteners' physical and motor skill development. But before that, would you like to stand up? Please stand up, because we have been for a long time sitting. So we need a small exercise actually. Just raise your hand Put thank you. That's my presentation actually. Okay. I really interested in kindergarten because we know that kindergarten are our future, or our leader future. But think the really reason is because my wife is a kindergarten teacher actually. And we want to discuss about how kindergarten teacher can develop one of aspect of growth and development of kindergarten. That is physical and motor skill development. We already know that kindergarten, I mean process of education or process of teaching and learning in kindergarten inseparable to play. We already know that play is learn and play is learn and learn is play for kindergartner. But in one side, we know that play having good function for kindergarten. But in other side, we know that some teachers have difficulties to implement this principle because some of them doesn't have experience to play children play. We call it in bahasa is dolanan anak or a traditional children play. So we have three questions actually. What is the physical motor skill development of the children? And then what is children play? And the last one is why can children play be used in learning process to optimizing the development of physical and motor skill? We see that one part of growth and development of children is physical and motor skill. Payne said that physical growth, such as height and weight, and motor skill consists of two kind of motor skill. That is gross motor skill and fine motor skill. In doing development of physical and motor skill, we have a principle that stated by Morrison that motor skill development is sequential. Maturation of motor system proceed from gross behavior to fine motors. And motor development from the cephalo to coda, mean from head to foot. We know that the infant erect head first, then will have another body part function after that. So by this principle, we know that some of physical activity will help us to set up teaching and learning. And based on this principle, we try to find out what kind of activity that will help us to set up teaching learning in kindergarten. And one type of activity that is a physical activity. And among any activities, there is children traditional games, or we call it children play or dolanan anak. And in the last 4 years, we try to make a study on children play and teaching learning in kindergarten. We already collect about 90 traditional games, and then we try to find out how many of this kind of traditional game that's suitable to use in develop physical and motor skill. And we found out about 23 children play can be used to help us in teaching learning for develop physical and motor skill development, such as this is a name of children play. And then after having that kind of children play, we try to set up a learning model based on the characteristic of aspect of motion on that children play. And also we find out that we can apply to theory on this kind of teaching model. There is a behaviorism that said if we want to have an effective learning, or if we want to have effective conditioning for children, we should have, or we should use a good experience for them. That experience will make a good conditioning for them to do that again and again, because pleasant experience will motivate children to do a good experience, and after that they will make up behavior. And the second theory, it's about social cognitive theory that said we have three elements of aspect in teaching and learning. That is individual, behavior, and environment. So if we want to make an effective teaching and learning, we should use pleasant environment and well-known environment by children. So based on that theory, we can use dolanan anak or children play, because dolanan anak or children play already known and can play by children. Also, if we remember that every human being like play, including us as older people. We see sometimes we are just forget the time if we using our smartphone for playing games. It means that play, right? And sometimes I just think that our smartphone make us apart, because sometimes we sit down in the same line, but we have different focus to use our smartphone. But in other side, smartphone make us closer because we can connect to people who apart from us. This is two kind of smartphone or something like that that have connection with play. And we use children play because children or kindergartner already know about children play. But as I already mentioned before, some teacher do not have experience to do that. So we should set up the teaching model or learning model that can support to try to implement the principle of motor development and also utilize children play. So in the recent year, this one. This one. We are doing research with the title Development of Children Play Based Learning Models to Optimize the Kindergarteners' Physical and Motor Skill Development. This study aims to create children play based learning models that can be utilized by kindergarten teacher to develop kindergarteners' physical and motor skill. In conclusion, we believe that children play can be used to develop physical and motor skill development. Then, thank you so much for your attention.
Okay, please give applause again for our valuable talk from our expert person. And now we have 15 minutes discussion in this panel session. So I will invite 3 audience to make a question for our expert person in here. Please mention your name and your institution.
Hello, my name is Ruli and I'm from 11 Maret University. I have a question for Professor Wawan. My question is, can we measure the motor skill development in the kindergarten, and how do we measure it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The second question. Okay, maybe Prof. Wawan, you can answer the question, how we can measure the motor skills development in the kindergarten children.
Thank you, Mbak Ruli from 11 Maret University. It is some interesting question for us that my research doesn't reach this topic, but I think we can measure the development of motor skill by using motor ability tests. But in diagnostic, motor ability tests used for older children, not for kindergarten. So we should look for the suitable instrument to measure the development of motor development. I think that my answer for that question.
Okay, it's clear, Miss Ruli. It's clear for you? Okay, thank you. And I still open and still invite for the audience for asking or maybe discussion or sharing about this topic. Okay. If no more question, we will close this session with applause for our speaker. And I close this session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.